Well, it's a Thursday, the 7th of October. You're watching the Daily Service Delivery Gauge on SABC 1 via SABC News. A very good afternoon to you. I'm Criselda Lewis.
Simbingele sinamkele mina ngumxolisi wakwamasango sinamkele kulohlelo lwethu namhlanje lapho siniphathele sematheni, of course ahead of the local government elections happening on the 1st of November. Namhlanje ke siphethe ne-IEC. The commissioner joins us, ubaba Musuthu Muyabya.
Our sign language interpreter is Fortune Madlala. Njengoba ngolesine namhlanje sithe ake sinimeme lapho emakhaya to join us in what we call Thought Thursday. So we'll be taking your calls throughout the program today.
Yes, of course, and this is your show, and if you want to be a part of the conversations on the show, interact with us on our social media platforms. You can tweet us on @SABC News using the hashtag #SDGauge, hashtag SABC News. You can also send us your WhatsApp voice notes and video clips to 083 272 8341. Let's start the program.
And this is where we start. The Independent Electoral Commission in the North West says it believes that this year's local government election is going to be a fiercely contested one. The province has registered a record-breaking number of both political parties and independent candidates. IEC Provincial Electoral Officer Dr. Thiba spoke to SABC reporter Zeblion Maine. Before we go to that, here are some of the facts about the North West province. So, Mahikeng local municipality is situated in the capital town there. The municipality is located about 25 kilometers south of the Botswana border. The municipality there, 31 wards is what they have. Mahikeng is a city of opportunities in different sectors, but more prominently in agriculture, manufacturing, cargo and aviation management.
Good afternoon. We are here at the provincial offices of the IEC in the Northwest, where we're going to get an update with regards to the state of readiness of the IEC as we draw closer to the local government elections on the 1st of November. But to get more clarity with regards to this, we are going to talk to Provincial Electoral Officer Dr. Thiba, who's going to give us an update as to how far are they with regards to the preparations. Dr. Thiba, thanks very much for joining us.
Thank you very much and good afternoon to your viewers.
As the IEC in the province, how ready are you as we draw closer to the local government elections on the 1st of November?
We have already had our provincial boot camp. That is a big meeting where we decide on the training approach, the content of the training and the areas of emphasis in training. We have started with the training of election staff already, taking advantage of the school midterm break. And we're going to continue until probably a week before the actual elections. We also, upon the close of special vote applications yesterday, started capturing the information so that voters can be informed as soon as possible of the status of their applications. We are expecting a high number of special votes. By Thursday last week, we already had over 26,000 applications. And we will probably by now have doubled that number, if not tripled it. But we are more than ready to execute the task at hand.
Now, in terms of political parties, how many political parties do we have? And when we compare it to 2016, are we see an increase or decline?
There is definitely an increase from 2016 to the present day. We have approximately 40, if not 41, political parties who will be contesting the elections. We have 149 independent candidates who have also successfully registered as participants in the competition. That is a major increase from 31 political parties in 2016 and 45 independent candidates in 2016.
We have seen during weekend of the voter registration where we have seen number of protests taking place across the province. Can we anticipate to see areas which are regarded as hotspots in the province increasing?
Yes, it might be. You know, for the registration weekend, 8 of our stations did not open on time, significantly so. So in areas such as Klerksdorp, in the Matlosane local municipality, Rustenburg, Ventersdorp in the JB Max, Taung, and some areas in Mahikeng in the Ngakamudiri-Mulema region, we do expect some form of delay or protests by some members of the community on that particular day.
Thank you very much, Dr. Thiba. There was Dr. Thiba, a provincial electoral officer, explaining to us that really this year we are going to see a number of political parties increased, and also the number of independent candidates also increased. So that means it's going to be highly contested elections this time around. With that, back to you in studio.
Well, preparation for this election obviously started quite a while ago. We will talk now to the Independent Electoral Commission on its state of readiness for the upcoming poll. IEC Commissioner Mosotho Moepya joins me now live in studio. Mr. Moepya, thank you very much indeed for your time, for joining us on the program. Is the IEC ready for this election?
Yes, we are ready. It is a difficult election. It needs a lot of preparations, but all of that is in hand. We may seem to be calm on the surface, but we're paddling very hard below the surface.
It hasn't come without its fair share of challenges at the moment. The latest currently is that you have already a political party that is unhappy with the Independent Electoral Commission. Action SA is taking the IEC to the Electoral Court. It is unhappy, basically saying that you refuse to put its name on the ballot itself. What is the situation there, and your response to Action SA taking you to court?
I must respond in the following manner and say, you know, the Electoral Commission, it's a true Chapter 9 institution. We don't play into popular media and just respond to things. Political parties are partners we work with. When we have a difference, it's never a difference that is personal. It is unfortunate that it is made as an issue between one institution against one party. We deny that. We never work in that manner. And what has now happened with the matter being taken to court, it's absolutely the correct process to follow, and we welcome that. We believe on our part that every action we have taken was lawful, and in that respect we are quite happy.
So what was the decision based on them not having the name of Action SA on that ballot paper? What is the justification? They say there's none.
Well, they will say it's none. We say we have done absolutely nothing wrong. When a political party registers with us, there's information they provide. We indicate to them how that information will be used, as we have done in this case. And when a time such as this comes, we then just proceed to do that which we have collected from the party and place it on the ballot paper. I do not wish to talk about the details of a matter that is before the court, except to say that there has been no willful decision by the Commission to prejudice any party, Action SA included.
Did you advise at any point Action SA that its action of basically, not registering an abbreviation would mean then that will not be on the ballot paper? Did you advise as the IEC at any point, or
yes,
do you have no obligation?
Yes, we did. Okay. We have that obligation. We did, and it'll be evident in our papers and the arguments in the court.
Tensions also tend to rise during this time between different political parties. I remember an incident in KwaZulu-Natal where the EFF leader Julius Malema was prevented from going into one of the registration stations. How far is that particular case, and how many such incidents has the IEC received to date?
I don't have a count. There are a few.
Plus minus?
Yeah, well, probably a dozen. The incident you're indicating is very close to completion. There are investigations we undertake in these matters, and parties are fully informed and involved in the investigation that we undertake. Some things that are very difficult and yet others very interesting are coming out of that investigation, and we should be able to conclude them pretty soon. Imminently, we will...
Imminent, pretty soon would be in the next week?
Oh, yes, absolutely.
In the next week, you'll have a decision on the ANC EFF matter?
Well, we will.
You will,
Yeah.
right. That's breaking news, I think, at this particular point, that the IEC will have a decision on the EFF ANC matter in KwaZulu-Natal in about the next week, hearing from the IEC commissioner. There's also another incident. We saw the posters and the furore around the Democratic Alliance and the posters that it put up in KwaZulu-Natal. During the course of this day, we understand that those posters are being taken down. Have you received, as the IEC, some complaints regarding to those posters? And are you looking into the matter?
At the point of coming to studio, I hadn't seen any complaints. I hadn't heard. It's not impossible that we may have received, but it's also possible that we haven't received any complaint yet.
All right. So with regard to that, you're investigating about a dozen complaints relating to what are some of these allegations that are being made from the dozen complaints?
Well, they range from disinformation to violation of the code in that someone has stopped another from participating or not participating, and how people attribute wrongful information to others. And they are normal electioneering complaints. Sometimes these are complaints that, frankly, if two parties just got together and spoke, they would resolve them. And so in many of these instances, we also get them together and say to them, you say this, they say this, and frankly, this is a simple matter. Can your two party liaison committees, committee members just sit down and deal with this matter? And they find each other. We don't have to always run to the electoral court to go find a solution there.
Are you monitoring, as the IEC, any hotspots? And the reason I ask this is because usually much closer to the election, there are residents who might feel that the only way that they will be listened to is if there's some sort of disruption to the election itself. And I also ask this on the basis that I know that the Soweto community is meeting this weekend over the electricity issue in that particular area. Of course, the service delivery issue has got nothing to do with the IEC, but that meeting could have a bearing on how the election is carried out in Soweto. Talk to us a bit about the hotspots, and are you concerned about some of these instances where residents are saying they're meeting at this particular point in the next week to see whether they'll even participate in this election or not?
We are saddened by the fact that in a democracy, this event will arise where some people may be frightened to participate in an election, and we condemn it. But we cannot refuse residents, citizens, from participating in whatever peaceful protests they have. To the extent that they do so, one must appreciate that they are dealing with a situation. But what we do condemn, and what I think South Africa cannot afford to tolerate, is violence. It's protests that are violent in nature and stop others from participating in democratic processes. To that extent, and I think it's an important matter that I say, to that extent, as you know, we don't have a police force of our own, an army of our own and things. We work with the existing structures. They collect, intelligence, disinformation, security information, and they deal with it. But to the extent that we may be concerned, we relate these matters to them and work together with them to safeguard the electoral process.
So that's all we have time for this afternoon. Thank you very much for joining us here on the program. IEC Commissioner Mosotho Moepya, thanks indeed for your time. One of the first guests that we have inside the SABC building here. Mxolisi?
Well, thank you for that informative interview, Griselda. Now remember, as a viewer of this show where you heard everything first, right here on the Daily Service Delivery Show. Now, of course, let us just quickly remind you on the question we are asking you today. With just 3 weeks ahead to the local government elections, as a voter, do you have confidence in the IEC? Let's have a look at some of your comments. Okay, Zaki says, I don't have confidence in the IEC, more when it comes to the situation of Action SA. And of course, Griselda touched on that earlier, and it seems they see who's the threat on the ANC. Kulani says, IEC is an ANC's puzzle shop. David Dema says they don't listen to some political parties, so who are we? The IEC and parties are fighting their own personal problems, so they must not involve us. Mzwandile Uti, sewer and drains spilling in Kutsong South Extension 2 and the entire Kutsong. That's a crisis. More than 46 people have been hired by the Merafong municipality acting manager without advertising the posts. Lastly, we touch base with Uvuyo. Uvuyo says the IEC is the ANC, just like SBU and Mzege Zege. At the back of that, we're touching base with a video. Let's roll it. All right, Griselda, at the back of that, I think we've got some callers on the line. Let's touch base with them.
Absolutely. We've reached a part of the show where you, the viewers, share your thoughts live with us. This is, of course, the first installment of Your Thoughts Thursday. We'd love to hear from you. First up, Muhammad Mohammed from McCarthy Informal Settlement in Uitenhage in the Eastern Cape. A very good afternoon to you. What are your concerns ahead of this election?
Good afternoon. I've got a very big concern. I'm staying at McCarthy Settlement, and there are people that's living there for about 20 years. There is no toilet. There's no running water. There's only one tap that serves about, say, more than 500 people. There's no service delivery.
Yeah.
There's no clinic nearby. We are a lot of pensioners that's living there.
Yeah.
I'm one of them. We've got to wake up 5 o'clock in the morning to get in time for the nearest clinic in Uitenhage. And the nearest clinic in Uitenhage for us is Rosedale Clinic.
Those are absolutely serious concerns that you're raising there. I understand as well in that particular area. You don't have toilet facilities. I think we'll go to our second caller now, Kagiso Makodi. I understand he's joining us from the Solplaatje municipality in Kimberley. A very good afternoon to you, Kagiso. What are your issues around your area?
Good afternoon, Professor. In Kimberley, we have a number of issues, from those sewer to water problems, the cost of electricity, to electricity prices being increased without consulting residents. We have been engaging the municipality on a number of issues, like also crime in our area, the youth that is unemployed, but still people are just tending to play politics with us. And we decided that instead of communicating with these people, sitting down with them at a table where they are making us fools, let us come together as residents and form something. Hence, we, the people in Solplaatje municipality, we have formed the Solplaatje Service Delivery Forum and the Front and Back Service Delivery Forum, which is contesting the district level. Solplaatje is contesting the local municipality, because we feel that as residents, it's time for us to lead ourselves, because we've been failed by political parties. The ruling party, it is one of those parties, and all these political parties, they come with the same promises, they come with the same lies to us. And year in, year out, we listen to them, we listen to their lies. But we as residents, we see that nothing is happening in our community. Kimberley is the capital city of Northern Cape, but when you go to Kuruman or Uppington, they are being developed at a rate that is fast superseding that of Kimberley, which is the capital city of Northern Cape. Then you ask yourself that what is happening? what are the leaders in Kimberley doing in society, municipality, and the provincial government? Why is it not protecting the capital city of Northern Cape? What is happening to the minerals, the diamonds that are being dug from our ground? Our youth are going into drugs, and yet we are supposed to stand behind political parties. They don't care about us. It is time for residents, as residents, we must stand together and vote these people out and support the forum so that we can have a place of discussion, because basically that is what the forum seeks to do.
Kagiso, in fact, we as SABC News are coming to you on Monday, and we're really hoping that you'd be able to participate with many other community members there to tell us what your concerns are. Thank you very much for getting in touch with us here on the program. Xolisi?
Yes, Griselda, first-hand experiences there on the ground. Now we're touching base with John Haynes, who joins us from Strand in the Western Cape. There's a question on land. Hello, John.
Hi, good day. I've got a question for our government. What have they done for our people? We run into elections where our youth, I work at a restaurant and I ride home past, in the town at night, and I see how people are living on the streets, they voted, they promised things, housing, jobs. People are losing their jobs, in South Africa. What are they doing, or what are their plans to do to bring employment back for people in South Africa? Getting the people off the streets, into a warm bed, food on their table, clothes on their bodies and that, this is a legacy that Mandela wanted for our kids and our grandkids, it looks more like it's a fight between race, I've never lived in apartheid. I'm sorry, apartheid was between our great-great-grandfathers, but it's got nothing to do with us as adults. We got to find jobs and provide for our kids, and for me, we want our country to be, it must be something left for our kids at the end of the day. Okay.
And of course, John, talking about some sentiments that resonate with so many South Africans during this time. And finally, we're touching base with Mpho Dimong, who joins us from Tzaneen in Limpopo. Hello, Mpho.
All right.
It's great to have you on the program. What's the comment or question for us today?
Hello.
Hello, Mpho, you're on the line. Talk to us.
Yes. Okay, yes. My point was about the service delivery around our area. So the thing
on the line?
Yes, there's a lot of things that have been happening, but right now it seems like because we are going to the elections, so there's some activities, but before the elections, there were no activities at all. Yeah. And there's still a lot of things that should have been done.
Mm-hmm. Clearly a lot.
Just like...
Yeah.
Yes, just like... water services. Yeah. Even the infrastructure, everything. Yeah. Around our area, there's still...
All right, Mpho, thank you so much, Mpho. Thank you so much. And of course, those are sentiments that echo with so many South Africans right now talking about the delivery of basic services. Griselda, that's where we have to leave it on today's installment of the Daily Service Delivery Gauge. We're back with you on Monday. Sakina's with you on Sunday at 8 p.m.
Absolutely. Thank you very much indeed for joining us. We loved that engagement. That's going to happen every single Thursday. Thank you very much for joining us on the Daily Service Delivery Gauge. We'll see you again on Monday.
Yeah.
Yes.
For sure.
Let's go.
Take care. Bye-bye.
Let's go.